All right. Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for coming. Okay, now, like most Greek or Greek American boys, I had a Yia Yia. No, not a yo-yo. I had one of those too. A Yia Yia. Now, what is a Yia Yia? Yia Yia is Greek for grandmother. Hello, my name is George Trahanis. I am Yia Yia. Now, with Greeks, nothing is simple. Everything is a big deal, bigger than life, a drama, a melodrama. And a Yia Yia is no exception. As a matter of fact, in our half-Greek household, my mother was not Greek, but more about that later. Yia Yia was the prime example of the kind of drama I'm talking about. I remember when I was 7. Watch this. Yia Yia? Yes, Chrysulemu? Golden boy. Yia Yia, I just ate a whole bag of cookies and my stomach hurts. Oh no, Panagiamu, the boy is sick. Flo, Spiro, call the doctor, call Dr. Blemanti, call Dr. Blemanti. Now, see, on top of seeing Yia Yia on Sundays and holidays like my cousins, I had the extra added treat of growing up in the same house with her. She lived with us until I was about 18. Now, when Mom and Dad got married, Yia Yia moved in with them. Why? Well, according to Dad, well, son, your mother insisted that Yia Yia come and live with us. And according to Mom, well, your father said he wouldn't get married unless Yia Yia came to live with us. She was part of the package. And what a package she was. I never knew who to believe. But I will say this, for whatever reason, I grew up in the same house with Yia Yia. The experience helped make me what I am today. A neurotic actor with obsessive-compulsive disorder. Now, when did I first learn about acting? From Yia Yia. Oh, she was a great actress. Hard as nails and strong as an ox. She was a survivor and a conniver. I loved Yia Yia because she could always get her way no matter what. She knew which buttons to push in my dad as sure as she knew how to make Greek-style chicken and rice, which we had pretty often, as a matter of fact. Nothing could stop her once she made up her mind that she wanted something. She was like Godzilla in a shroud. What is my first memory of Yia Yia? Well, that would be the television. I remember one morning, I was 7, and she and I were in the kitchen having breakfast, and my mom and dad were upstairs. Now, this was in the day when most families had only one TV, way before VCRs, too. And Yia Yia and I were always fighting about what to watch on our one TV in the living room. Now, the night before, as I found out, Yia Yia had ever so diplomatically asked my dad, Spiro, why don't you buy for my room a little TV so Georgie and we don't fight anymore, huh? Well, Mom, we can't do that. TVs are expensive. End of discussion, or so it seemed. In any case, as I was finishing up my Rice Krispies, we heard my dad coming down the stairs. Yia Yia bolted out of her chair and ran to the refrigerator. Yia Yia, what's the matter? Shh. Just then, my father came into the room. Yia Yia let out a scream as if she'd just been hit by a bus. She leaned against the refrigerator and crumpled to the floor. Oh, Icardiamo! 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 Oh, my heart, my heart. My dad came into the kitchen, took one look at Yia Yia, burst into tears and fell to the floor next to her and buried his face in her lap. Mama, oh, amo. Now, during this, needless to say, I was scared, but I was also confused. I mean, a few minutes ago, everything had been fine, and suddenly it was catastrophe time. Was Yia really sick? Had my dad gone out of his mind? Was I crazy? Just then, into the room comes my mother, her hair up in curlers, Pond's cold cream all over her face, wearing her favorite gold quilted robe with rhinestone buttons. Spiro, Jesus Christ, will you please get up off the floor? Call Dr. Bomani. Mom's dying. And with that, my dad picked up Yia and took her up to her room. Now, I really didn't know what to think about all this, really. What's happening? So anyway, when my dad took Yia upstairs, my mom got on the phone to call the doctor. Hello? Yes, this is Mrs. Trahanis. Could you ask Dr. Bomani to come over here right away? No, it's not for me. It's not for Georgie. It's my mother-in-law. You wouldn't believe me if I told you. So anyway, after Mom called the doctor, she called my Aunt Virginia and my Aunt Esther, and they said they would come over right away. Now, in the meantime, I was still sitting at the kitchen table. Part of me had bought into the drama that, oh my God, maybe Yia is dying. And another part of me was still trying to figure out what was going on. I mean, Yia had been fine until she heard my dad coming down the steps. Well, when the doctor arrived, my mom took him upstairs to Yia. And my dad came downstairs. And just at that moment, my Aunt Esther and my Aunt Virginia drove up. My dad greeted his sisters. They all burst into tears and sat huddled up in the hallway waiting for the doctor's verdict. I mean, it was really creepy. I mean, I wanted to say to them, well, you know, I'm not really sure there's anything the matter with Yia, but I couldn't get a word in edgewise for all the screaming and the hollering. Anyway, after what seemed like hours, the doctor and my mom came downstairs. My father and his sisters sprang to attention. Mrs. Trahanis is just tired. She'll be fine. Well, this led to more tears, words of gratitude, and shaking hands incessantly with the doctor. I'll never forget the look on my mother's face. She stood there staring at my dad and his sisters as if they had just flown in from Mars. Well, that night, Yia and I watched I Love Lucy in her room on her brand new TV. Yia, what happened today? Are you okay? Shh. Just forget about it and watch Lucy, eh? Min anixeteto cool sistema. Don't turn on the air conditioner. Yia was terrified of air conditioners. She thought that they were unnatural, that they would freeze your soul. You see, in the town where she grew up in Greece, they had no air conditioners. And she was convinced that God was against air conditioners. Now, while she thought that, I have no idea. Anyway, we lived in a really wonderful 3-story house that got very hot during the summer. So my parents decided to buy several air conditioners for the house. One for their bedroom, one for my bedroom, and one large unit to cool the living room and the dining room downstairs. But there was a problem. No cool system. Cool system bad. My mother was furious because she could not even turn on the air conditioner in the living room because, according to my dad, It's no good for my mother. It'll kill her. So, if my mom wanted to be cool, calm, and collected during the summer, she was basically confined to their bedroom. Well, August came along, and it was time for us to take our annual 2-week vacation to Atlantic City. And it was really hot back in Pittsburgh. Everybody was complaining about the temperature. Even Yia mentioned how hot it was. Now, my Aunt Virginia was staying with Yia while we were away. Well, when we lived in the Horia village, we didn't have air conditioning. And every winter, we walked to school back and forth 2 miles every day in snow up to our ankles. Who needs air conditioning? Say what? Anyway, we went off to Atlantic City, and while we were gone, there was a horrible heat wave back in Pittsburgh. Temperatures were much like here, up to about 100 degrees. Well, when we got back, Yia and Aunt Virginia had something very interesting to tell us. Oh, Flo, big trouble is break the cool system. Flo, I don't know what it was, but it got really hot, and we went to turn on the air conditioner in the living room, and it didn't work. It must be broken. Oh, you poor dears, and in all this heat. Let me go downstairs and check the fuse box. So a few minutes later, Mom came back. Okay, Virginia, try it now. And with the flick of a switch, the air conditioner roared to life. Soon, the room was cozy and comfortable. Happiest of all was Yia. She sat in her favorite armchair and proclaimed, "Cool systema, good." And from then on, for the rest of that summer, and for many summers after that, Yia never complained about the cool systema again. Now, this story has an interesting little epilogue. Soon after this, I said to my mother, I said, "Hey, Ma, I know Yia drove you crazy with the cool system." And she told me, "Well, your Aunt Virginia and Yia were being so pissy about the cool systema that I decided to teach them a lesson once and for all. The night before we left for Atlantic City, I went downstairs and I disconnected the fuse for the big air conditioner. That way they couldn't even turn it on if they wanted to. You don't like the cool systema? Then you don't get the cool systema." Now, soon after this, I grew up speaking Greek and English at the same time, but there was something lacking in my Greek education. I didn't know any curse words. I heard my cousins whispering them in the background all the time, but they would never tell me what they meant. Anyway, I decided to take it upon myself to improve my Greek vocabulary. "Daddy." "Yes, son." "Daddy, tell me a bad word in Greek." "Oh, that's my boy." "Okay, but don't tell Yia, and don't say it too loud." The Greek word for poop is skata. Skata! Oh, don't say it so loud. My dad was thrilled and proud of me because I could curse in Greek like he did. We sat on the floor giggling like two little kids. Well, the next day at lunchtime, "Yia, yes, Chrysoulimou?" "Yia, Daddy taught me a new word in Greek." "Oh, really? It's beautiful. Tell Yia." "Skata." "Your daddy tell you that?" "Uh-huh." "Thaton skotoso. I'm gonna kill him." Well, that night at dinner, Mom and Dad and I were eating, and Yia had already eaten, and so she was serving us. She walked over to my dad. "Spiro?" "Yeah, Ma." Suddenly, out of her apron pocket, she pulled a huge wooden spoon called a cuchara and whacked my dad on the head with it. Oh, Jesus Christ, Mom, what the hell are you doing? You tell Georgie bad words, huh? Mom, what are you talking about? You tell Georgie skata. I sat frozen, waiting to see what was going to happen next. Didn't have very much long to wait. Anyway, they were fighting, and they were arguing, and there was all this screaming going on, and I didn't know what was going to happen next. So finally, in the midst of all this screaming, I did the one thing I knew would shut everybody up. I cried, "Stop fighting!" Silence. You could hear a pin drop. Well, son, there's no need to cry. We're not fighting. No, absolutely not. We're fine. Nothing to worry about. And Yia smoothed the whole thing over by taking us to Dairy Queen for banana splits. Now, Mom and Dad never mentioned my new Greek word again. However, I must say, I did go on to learn all of the curse words from my cousins. And I thought everything was fine. What I didn't know was that Yia was determined that I was going to be a good Greek boy. Georgie, no more bad words, huh? You promise me. Yes, Yia, I promise. If you say bad words like skata, the Carcanzelia will come and steal your voice. Now, the Carcanzelia were 3 witches, also known as the Furies, who punished people in Greek mythology. Yia had told me about them before, and quite frankly, she had scared the skata out of me. So now I knew the truth. If I said any of the words that I knew, the Carcanzelia would come and steal my voice forever. Well, needless to say, I promised that I would never say them, but over the years, I broke that promise many times. And even to this day, when I curse in Greek, I always think of the Carcanzelia and Yia. Well, soon after this, Yia decided that I was going to go to Greek school. What's Greek school, Yia? Oh, Chrysoulimou, do you want to speak Greek beautiful? Do you want to go to Greek school? Okay, Yia. My dad was thrilled. I'm proud of you, son. You're going to learn Greek. It's the best language in the world. My mother was not too sure. Well, it seems to me that Georgie would be better off playing outside with his friends after school. Georgie, are you sure you want to go to Greek school? I don't know, Mommy. Well, my dad went off. My son is going to Greek school. He's got to learn Greek. He's got to carry on the family name. They were fighting again. Well, I tried my old trick, but this time didn't work. So the next morning, we went down to the church and registered me for Greek school. Now, in my 7-year-old mind, I thought, oh, wow, okay, it's going to be for one day. One day. Try 6 years. 3 days a week. Now, first, I hated it. I mean, all of my American friends were out playing after regular school. But then something happened. We started performing on stage in our church for the congregation. At first, it was just short little poems, but then, when we got older, our dear teacher, Mr. Sevili, wrote full-length plays in Greek for us to perform. And you know something? I was really good at it. And I liked it. Anyway, I have always wanted to be an actor. Growing up in our house required a sense of humor, diligence, and energy. 3 qualities that are very important for an actor. In our house, you never knew what was going to happen next, so you had to be on your toes. Talk about being in the moment. I have always wanted to be an actor, and I have always proudly proclaimed it any chance I got. Mommy and Daddy, I'm going to be a great actor. You know, I have this little ball of fire inside of me, and as long as I have that, I'm going to be okay, and I know I'm going to be a great actor. My mom, oh, well, I don't know about that, but my dad was a lot more supportive. I think it was because he originally came to this country to be an opera singer. Even when I performed in kindergarten, he was right there beside me. I'm proud of you, son. You got my voice. Anyway, then later, a few years later, after I started performing in summer stock, he said, you're my boy, and I'll tell you, you got the voice, you got the physique, and you got the charisma. Did you know charisma is a Greek word? It means gift. You got everything you need. I'm going to live long enough to see you on Broadway. Well, soon after that, I started doing summer stock. And Yia Yia and my dad were always there, whether it was a musical comedy or a Shakespeare or even a children's show. They were always there. Well, finally, it got to the point where I was going off to college. Mom and Dad, I'm going to be majoring in theater. Well, son, you know, it's not going to be easy. I know, Dad, but it's what I really want. I want to be on stage, and I want to be on TV. Yia was elated. Georgie, TV, General Hospital. So anyway, soon after that, I did my last season of summer stock in New Jersey, and I was performing in a production of Oliver Goldsmith's She Stoops to Conquer. I was playing Tony Lumpkin, which I loved. And everybody, my dad, my Yia, and surprisingly, even my mom came to see it. Well, we drove 6 hours from Pittsburgh. This better be good. So the night before that, I experienced stage fright for the first time. I was excited and scared that my family was going to be there. Well, the show was a big hit, and I got rave reviews as Tony Lumpkin. My father was beaming, and Yia was beside herself. Oh, Chrysulimu, bravo, bravo, bravo. Well, Mom, did you like it? It was all right. I learned a very important lesson that night. Not everybody was going to like my work. So I made up my mind. I thought of Robert Frost, and I decided to take the road less traveled. Now, a few years later, Yia moved in with my Aunt Virginia because she had a one-story apartment, and the stairs in our house were just getting to be too much for her. Well, it was kind of weird not seeing Yia in our house where we had spent a good part of our lives together, but and seeing her on vacations only at Aunt Virginia's was kind of weird. But any time we got together, it was as if no time had passed at all. Rishulimu, posise, how are you? I'm great, Yia. I feel wonderful. But I don't think my mom and dad understand me. Forget about mommy and daddy. When you come home from school, you come and see me. I love you, Yia, and I love you, Pedimo. No matter what was happening, Yia was always there for me. She believed in me, and that helped me believe in myself. Thank you very much. Thank you so much. I had a ball telling you my stories, and please tell everybody you know, because we're hoping that there are going to be more performances. So I thank you from the bottom of my heart. Mwah. Thank you. So anyway, let's have some drinks and let's enjoy ourselves. Again, thank you so much for coming. It means a lot.